Hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. We are continuing our series on excellent premises and terrible execution. And today, while we're going to definitely talk about one television series, we're going to embrace a host of television series that are out there, and they fall under the generalized tropish term known as the mystery box. Also, there's the idea of calling them like a loot box or a puzzle box, but the mystery box tends to be the one that's used in common parlance when we talk about these television shows. Not so much movies, but television shows really fill this in. And I think, and mind you, this is just from an armchair fan of this type of series. I think the pinnacle of the series is Lost, and the idea of the mystery box becoming a genre unto itself. So anyway, guys, for those who do not know, the show is TriCast through YouTube, hey Cam, our own Discord server, and on Twitch. Hey, I'm very happy to have our moderators, Deadman and Tesla Ranger, back into the fold. I'm glad you guys could rejoin after this show's been absent for like 3 months. I'm actually surprised anyone's come on back. so I really appreciate it. Anyway, we are going through a kind of a general series talking about movies and TVs to tabletop RPGs, since we love to talk about, well, tabletop RPGs. And how can we avoid the elephant in the room, the mystery box, the leader of the pack, Lost? So let's all get on the same page. Now, I did a little bit of a pre-search on the mystery box, and there doesn't seem to be a specified definition. So I'm going to give you my definition. Hopefully we can get on the same page. If we don't, whatever, pop in a comment or join the chat, and please correct me. I'm more than willing to listen to any and all discourses. All right. So the mystery box, when it comes to television, the mystery box is an idea that you have not just one unknown quantity in your premise, but as individuals start to watch the television show, hey, Agadeth, Steve, as you watch the show, you realize that there are many questions, and oftentimes the pilot, and as the television series moves on, there become more and more questions. Who are the characters? What are their purposes? Why are they here? Where are they located? What time period is it? Why does this person carry this item around with them? And as each character gets introduced, each of those characters starts to have more mysteries about them. Oh, thanks, Cam. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. But so the mystery box is, now there's nothing wrong. Listen, there's nothing wrong with having a mystery. All right. So let's look at the absolute leader of the pack, Lost. An airline flying through the air encounters some kind of event that causes a plane crash. And we see the wreckage of a plane on some kind of tropical deserted island, and a number of the survivors are there waking up, and they find that they're stuck on a deserted island. Great premise, because we have a lot of questions. Who are all these people? What happened to the plane? Where's the island? When will they be rescued? And all and then you have the the mystery box allows us to have a lot of social interactions. Who hates who likes who? Will the group of our favorite characters start to split off into different factions? And so it gives this backdrop. Mystery boxes allow us to have a backdrop of interactions with characters, and we get to delve into them socially. And so the chaos of the mystery, as each new mystery comes about, we get to see different elements of the characters' personalities. And I believe that's why writers love mystery boxes, because a mystery could be someone finds a gun. Okay, well, who's the most violent member of this group? Who's the thief? Who's the liar? Who's the one that likes to tell the truth? Who's the investigative one? Who's the one that's the most paranoid or least paranoid? And we get to find this about. Deadman says the island, I dash land, the island on Netflix is the same starting premise. Yeah, and listen, guys out there, drop in every and in any mystery box show that you know of, that you've seen. Now, mind you, the success rate on mystery box shows isn't very high. All right. Now, as it comes to Lost had a high track record for having great characters. We had a lot of characters who were extremely diverse in terms of their personalities and backgrounds. The show, the flashback became, actually there were flash forwards and flash sideways as the show went on, but the flashback became an element that you always wanted to tune into, right? And such. And like Tesla Ranger puts in a great comment here in the Discord saying the success of Lost inspired network TV to commission a slew of imitators. Oh, they did. And here are some names: The Event. I remember The Event. Whew. Jericho, Surface, Terra Nova, Invasion, Flash Forward. Oh, Flash Forward was my jam. Revolution, and J.J. Abrams' follow-up show, Alcatraz. Oh, Alcatraz. Oh my God. That was a great premise, terrible show too. All serious and densely plotted serialized dramas based around a central mystery and tinged with a little sci-fi edge. Unfortunately, most of these shows failed to recapture the lightning, and almost all of them were canceled after one or two seasons. And our honorable mention does, however, go to Prison Break. The first season was like a 99%er. Second season popped down to a B plus, and then anyway. However, hello, testing. Uh, Anyone there? It seems like the okay. So, all right. It seems like my audio is out in the Discord, but I will rejoin. I will rejoin the voice testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, the stream still's going. Wow, that's different. Seems like the guy said, seems like he's trapped in a mystery box. I can't get out. What the hell? Anyway, all right. So one of the main problems with let's keep going. One of the main huge problems with mystery box shows is that, well, it's a mystery. It's a mystery. AM, peace, dude. I'm not sure why it is I'm dropping out. I'm getting green lights on all my stream health. I mean, I'm wow, 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 wow. Well, it seems like they don't want me to talk about. They don't want me to talk about this subject today. It's like, shut up, DBJ. Uh, all the Lost fans out there are like, you shut your dirty mouth. Yeah, and in Discord, I'm getting out of here too. Yeah, it seems like I I'm wondering if it's something with the computer. If there's some if I'm drawing something. Whenever I start, I'm just going to drop out of. Sorry guys, I'm going to drop out of the Discord. I know a lot of you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, oops. I think maybe that might be it. I'm going to drop out of one of them, and because I'm still getting a good stream health here, and my audio still seems to be coming through live. Well, that's what happens when you are a one man show. Well, yeah, apparently it doesn't want to keep my camera on, and I've done nothing to change anything. Hmm. Thanks, Stage 10. I'm going to have a conversation with you later on. All right. All right. Let's see if we can get back in the chat here. I was thinking the same thing, Ricker. Like the RPG discussion is too much to handle. Yeah, they are. Gasper's like, God damn, they're trying to keep your ass silent. Don't give them the answers to the mystery box. All right, all right. Yeah, I'm with you, Mofa, but I'm thinking maybe it's my computer. I'll try it one more time. All right, okay. Try this one more time, and get back into the Discord. See if there's audio punching out there. Okay. Well, I guess we. I was wondering about that too. I got a new camera, and I mean, I didn't have some cameras time out, and this one doesn't seem to be doing that. Yeah, I got a new camera. I mean, my audio is the same, but the new camera. All right. Enough of the tech issues. Before I drop out again. Oh, thanks, dude. And just when I opened up my mouth, I dropped out again. Okay, so this is the absolute positively worst stream. It's one of the worst streams I've done. Other times I just froze and it just went away. But right now, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, and I'm maybe there's something going on in the background. I'm not getting any like notifications or you need to reboot or anything. So no, I don't. I can't. It's difficult to do these things on the fly when you're like one person. Otherwise, I could just stop it and figure out what's hanging on in the background. But mm-mm. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And see, yep, I'm not coming through Discord. Yeah, it's for some reason it's dropping my audio out of Discord. Hmm. We need a tech show. Maybe I should call it Marquise and get him to on air diagnose my issues here. Um, all right. Well, I maybe we let's. You know what? We'll probably hold this off till another day. Thanks. um, I hope we don't either. I see. And I check my connections. I mute my phone. I it's the whole nine yards, right? Like I do the whole thing because I check for nose goblins. I kind of do all the little things that you got to do before you start streaming because otherwise it's like yeah, you got to drain the bladder, the whole nine yards. It's a it's details behind the scenes. Yeah. And okay, well, I apparently being lost on the island of Lost and these other mystery box TV shows, as Tesla Ranger so kindly put into the Discord, it is a thing, and you start to try to take apart the idea of like, well, why is it that these mysteries are happening in the first place? And when you can never find an answer to it, it becomes frustrating because more questions start arising and you're still scratching your head like, well, can we answer what happened last time? And unfortunately, when you get a large group of creators together, each creator wants to make their own twist, their own spin on it. Because many times a TV show is written by lots of different people, and some of them want to take a spin so far left field to keep creating the mystery that they start to diverge away from the main premise of the friggin' show in the first place. Yeah, me. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, all this is throwing me off sometimes. See, and I think the same thing. Tesla, you said saying that I must have gotten a software update at some point in the past few months, right? I'm sure something changed. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Usually, those software changes are like, hey, you might want to reboot at this point. I'm not getting any of that, and I haven't gotten that in a while, but that doesn't mean anything. There's lots of software changes happen, or more often than not, start to happen in the background. And I'm like, I don't know. Man. Yeah. When it comes to tabletop RPGs, the one thing we can learn from a mystery is that I hear you, Gaster, because Gaster says, "I got to admit, I've never actually seen Lost, and Lost turned a lot of people off because while it was one of the original water cooler shows where people were watching it, because it was week by week, and people would go to work and talk about it with their friends and wait till the next week to watch, the next episode. While that was a very common thing to do, there were a number of people who A didn't want to catch up with the series. B were kind of turned off by the fact that everybody kept asking these new questions without getting answers to the old questions and just rolling their eyes at it. And for creatives like us, sometimes we can see behind the curtain a little bit, and you realize, like, a modern show today that pissed me off very early on was a show called Manifest. Now, Manifest had a great premise. Okay, people get on an airline, they're flying back from the Caribbean, plane somehow gets diverted, flies over the Bermuda Triangle, disappears for 5 years. Oh, thanks, Em. Yeah. Thank you so much there, dude. Yeah. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe to a channel that keeps breaking apart. But it's all right, man. We'll survive this one. Maybe we'll bring this up tomorrow to do a repeat or something. But yeah, Manifest, great idea. So, bunch of people get on a plane, Bermuda Triangle, plane disappears for 5 years. Plane lands after 5 years, and all the people on the plane land as if 5 years have not passed. So, like in the show, um, uh, a young lady lands in the plane and finds out that her fiance got married to her best friend because, well, they both were grieving the loss of, thinking that the plane crashed into the sea, grieving the loss of their best friend. There were twins. One twin got on an earlier flight and went home, and the second twin was on a plane, and it's like, oh, now the twins have a 5 year gap between them. One's 17, one's 12. This was a great premise. And then all of a sudden they start bringing up these mysteries. Are some of them exhibiting superpowers and psychic abilities? Is there an evil corporation trying to study them? Is there a government conspiracy? And then all of a sudden they took a left turn. Why is there some hiker in a cave that ends up getting stuck in a cave for 7 years and then comes out of it as if time hasn't passed? And we're like, wait. I thought we were dealing with the plane. That's why the show's called Manifest, right? And things like that. Gaster Two Soul says, what if indeed, instead of us being stranded on an actual island, but we were actors doing like a movie or even a show on the island, maybe something went wrong. See, you're already embracing the idea of the mystery. A bunch of people, plane crashes on tropical island of some sort. Everyone wakes up on the beach. They don't know what happened and what's going on, and they have to survive. And while that part of it is fun, they added in things like like Tesla put in the Discord this morning, like the having to input the numbers. There's some kind of strange hatch and underground bunker or something. And what happened? There was a season where it ended, and there was a hatch to an underground bunker. Mystery. Everyone goes down into the bunker, and guess what? There's another door with a mystery, and you're just like rolling your eyes, like, what the hell, And at a certain point, you have to have answers. And in a tabletop role playing game, because let's tie this up here, because I have a feeling that this is really going to I'm not going to last the stream too much longer. At some point, you have to have an answer. And like Cameron says, oh, the mystery box, The Hangover. Yeah, now, I think The Hangover does count, but the Hangover actually answers a few questions. Now, mind you, they never answered the question about the chicken, but, whatever, right? They answered the question. And the whole point of The Hangover was to uncover what happened. And while you're absolutely free to create a premise in your role-playing game, I would suggest that if you make a premise and you don't know the answer, just be upfront with it, right? For example, zombie apocalypse. Sometimes there's no answer to it, right? There just happens to be a zombie outbreak. Now there are assumptions, like, for example, The Walking Dead. You can assume that it's a virus or something. You might assume it's a curse, but do we really need to know the answer as to why there's a zombie apocalypse? No. But if there's an alien starship floating overhead and there's a zombie apocalypse, now you've created another mystery that, like, really goes away from the premise of what you're experiencing, right? So if you don't know the answer to your mystery, don't bother answering it, right? If, for example, if the gods are dead, maybe, and the player characters are adventuring through a land. What is the sacred, the scarred lands or something? A lot of the gods were dead and they fell to the earth, and humanity is adventuring in a land where you're literally traveling through the corpses of dead gods. Okay, maybe you'll never find out why the gods died in the first place, but because it's better to have a premise of adventuring through the corpses of dead gods, right? Yeah, like Rickard says, don't make a mystery box foreshadow without context. Exactly. And also give small answers as well. If you're going to create another mystery, that's fine. Give a small answer to what happened previously. Now, those small answers might be extremely small. Like, for example, let's go back to Walking Dead. Was there the CDC trying to discover where the zombie virus came from? Sure, of course there would be. Now, did they find a cure for it? No, they never found a cure, and you don't find the origin of it. But it's not like the CDC is pretending like it doesn't exist, right? If they went to the CDC compound, and this is the first season of the show, and you find out that they don't even have a record of the zombie apocalypse at all, as if it didn't exist, then you're like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they not even have a record of it? Then now you're creating another mystery, you know? Cameron says, so The Hangover is a successful mystery box? I think so. I'll agree with that. And there are some television shows like let's go to pick out some of the television shows that failed, right? Um, let's go to The Event. So The Event, Salvation, I think you could throw in there, where some kind of extraterrestrial thing is coming to Earth, and everyone's panicked that it's going to impact the Earth, and society is breaking down, and the main characters are running around trying to reunite. And at the very end of the show, was the planet impacted by an asteroid? No. Did a comet pass overhead? No. What happened? Did a starship appear in the sky overhead, sending an alien signal? No. What happened was a whole nother planet arrived in our solar system. An entirely new planet arrived in our solar system, and then the show ends. And you're like, what? Okay, aliens, I get. Comet, yep. Asteroid impact, sure. Maybe a dimensional aperture, maybe. A whole nother planet arrives. What was the other show? Flash Forward. Flash Forward was a show where, for 137 seconds, every single human being on the earth passes out and receives an image of the future that is so vivid that everyone believes this event will come true in the future. No one knows when that future will come, but every single person at the same time gets that image. To the point where planes were crashing, there were car accidents, and things like that. And they were building a world that involved the flash forward. For example, some people didn't receive a flash forward; they just got black. They were unconscious for 137 seconds. It was completely black. So some of them thought that they would be dead. Others that got a flash forward realized, oh, well, if the future is going to make my life better or worse, some people, were in jail. One person became a African dictator. One guy fell in love with a young lady, and then he starts to spend his life looking for this young lady that he never found. And the mystery was uncovering the mystery. I'm sorry. The mystery was the event that happened. The stories were about all of the people, and like a writer likes to do, they like characters. How do the characters react to finding out what your life is going to be at some point in the future? Spoilers for Flash Forward. The very last episode of the show is that on the date when the time starts counting down, the very last episode is everyone passes out at the exact same time yet again, because when their premonition comes true, that premonition date is all exactly at the exact same time, and everyone passes out getting another premonition. And I was just like, oh my God, we went through all that fucking God. Anyway, AM Malika says, never forget the island, the time lapse, and the hangover is a metaphor for the unknown. So, as the writer GM, you must keep the mystery original, interesting, and fun. I absolutely agree with you there. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, this show is definitely a bloopers show. Cameron says, I feel like my 20s were a mystery box. Yeah, I think, but I while I wasn't a M can attest to this. I wasn't a big party person, but I think most of us are teens in our 20s. It was much. If we went back and could actually see what the hell we were doing back then, we were like, "Whoa, what were we thinking?" It was a bit of a blur. I gotta admit. Yeah. Now, um, like I said, sometimes you can. Now, Rickard says, any shows you think pulled this off? Um, I know a lot of you guys are not or have a love hate relationship with J.J. Abrams and Damon Lindelof, but I think Damon Lindelof pulled it off with a show called The Leftovers, mainly because the idea of The Leftovers is that 2% of the world's population disappeared, and most people thought it was the rapture. And Damon Lindelof and his host of writers specifically said when that show started, no, at no point in the show will you ever find out why it is 2% of the world's population disappeared. And I think that was a bold move because Damon Lindelof, like I said, there's a love-hate relationship with him. Some people love him, some people cannot stand his mystery box writing at all. Yeah, like Gaster says, all of fucking 2020 was a mystery box. Yeah, it was. Every day was like, what about tomorrow? Well, what about the next day? Well, what's going to happen the next day? And then you look back and you're like, what? Yeah. Yeah, the Leftovers. Now, listen, The Leftovers is, that first season is real difficult to get through. From an emotional standpoint, it is very dark. It's very depressing. It's, the show involves the idea of what do you do if you really believe in an afterlife, and is there an afterlife, and why would you be left behind when the 2% of the population got raptured, and why were there like criminals and pedophiles and stuff raptured with all these people? It was a whole big thing. And you're thinking to yourself like, okay, what if I have a great idea that is a premise that is a mystery, and you as a creator really don't have an idea how to answer it? My suggestion for a mystery box is try not to dangle too many threads, especially threads that have nothing to do with the mystery, because players are going to latch on to the mystery itself. Okay, so for example, let's go with a classic role playing trope, a necromancer, and there's an army of undead, and there's a necromancer. Okay, now if somehow the PCs encounter the big bad necromancer, and the necromancer says, "Well, I wasn't the one that created the necrotic army," then you're like, okay, well, the players are going to, in your head, you may be thinking, well, I want an undead army, but I don't want a reason to why it exists. And everyone's going to assume it's the big bad necromancer, but that's not the case. The fact is that, that everyone's going to want to know the answers all the time. Oh, hey, Tom Cruise movies, Minority Report and Edge of Tomorrow had good mystery box feel in the beginning. Also, WandaVision too. WandaVision, yeah. Isn't that a Well, here's the thing with WandaVision. I think they understood that every episode they had to answer some of the questions from the previous episode. Now, I think there's nothing wrong with answering a question and then dropping a new one, because you're answering something, and you're establishing a new a new set of rules, right? Oh, it was the necromancer that created the undead army. Okay, what's the next question? Well, the necromancer's hint. Boom. Yeah. Yep. 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 We're. It's reminding me. All right, we let you talk this much. It'll give away our secrets. Anyway, Aga Death says, with all the breaks earlier, may have missed that I mentioned the 100 and Colony both has mystery box elements too. Oh yeah, I did mention that the 100 and Colony. Now, Colony, I love that I didn't finish the whole show. I think it had 2 seasons, maybe 3. Colony's premise was aliens come to Earth, erect immense walls around various neighborhoods, separating humanity from one section to another. And no one, the aliens were taking humanity up into the sky. So the question was, is it for good or bad? And some of the human beings were like, oh, I'm being treated better than other ones who were in these sections of society walled off that were being treated like cattle and that kind of thing. Yeah. Rickardson's like, yeah, the timing though, the necromancer is stream cuts. Yeah. Yeah, the streaming service is like, I'm going to make this a mystery box by cutting up his conversation. What? Huh? What? Yeah. Uh, Cameron says, is WandaVision anything like the House of M comics? If Malika is still available, I would say you would have to go back to two previous storylines, although everyone is talking about WandaVision and the House of M. There are two storylines, probably before many of you guys were even born, uh, where Wanda's children were a figment of her imagination. They were real when she saw them, they weren't when she wasn't around them. And that drove her insane, which then led to the House of M situation. And then the other storyline was one with white vision, pale vision, colorless vision, where Vision's mind is white and Wanda still has, love and affection for her man, Vision, and Vision doesn't remember her. Yeah. Yeah, the show is suffering from mystery boxitis. Yeah. Rickard says, cause you have this thing happens, we won't linger on it, only the effect of it happening thing going on. So we are then ignoring the mystery. Yeah, and that's a dangerous game to play. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a mystery going on, but side effects of the mystery might be more important than the mystery itself. So alien starship appears above overhead. Humanity is running around to find out what's going on and what do the aliens want. Now, the side effects might be changes in the atmosphere, human beings being mind controlled, alien weaponry arriving in the hands of people who shouldn't have it, cybernetic implants, occultists and loyalists, governments falling apart, or corporate agencies trying to capitalize on it. Like, all of the side effects of an alien starship appearing overhead there might be side effects that the humanity must deal with, but the alien ship is overhead. My contention is PCs try to discover why aliens are here, and then you take a left turn and go, oh, even the aliens don't know why they're here. And then you're like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Then you're like, okay, now you're just trying to steal away. And this happened with Lost. Let's return this back to Lost before we get out of here. Sorry, Deadman says House of M has been stated as a movie in the next generation of the MCU. Yes, now WandaVision isn't House of M. WandaVision draws heavily from stories previous to House of M. Now, in the comic books, eventually Wanda's children, her twins, do become real. But in the original story, Wanda's children were as real as she imagined them to be. And so when she wasn't paying attention to them, they disappeared. And I don't remember that storyline. I mean, I don't remember the name of the storyline, but at that time it was a big deal. And it was like, ooh, yeah, because she's a tragic character. And writers who came upon that series were like, yeah, Scarlet Witch is a pretty damn tragic character. And so they took advantage of that. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the show takes from various issues and comic book storylines to create its own unique adaptation. I love it. Would you say being randomly transported through time and space after the clock tower you're standing under gets struck by lightning at midnight sounds like the beginning of a mystery box? That sounds remarkably specific. Yeah. Now, mind you, if players can't figure out what the mystery is and you understand what it is, that's not a mystery box. I think one of the horrors and the worst things you can do in a mystery box, and this happened with Lost, is that your players are getting close to figuring out what your mystery is, and instead of giving them the win, because some people are just brilliant, or sometimes people just stumble upon the answer by accident, right? Like, who murdered this person? I bet it was, Professor Plum with the candlestick, right, in the library or whatever, okay? And sometimes somebody can guess that right away. And you're thinking, I've got 20 session campaign. They're going to go from level 1 to level 20. It's going to be a Star Wars campaign, and they're going to uncover the origins of when the Sith and the Jedi split apart. And someone in the very first game session goes, oh, I bet it was. And then they come up with the answer. And the terrible part of a mystery box, and I really felt this with Lost, was that the public starts to guess the answer, and the writers purposefully change the answer to keep the mystery going rather than giving people the win. Right? So when Lost was airing, a lot of people were like, oh, well, all the people on the island are probably dead. And that stuck around for a long time. Oh, we're watching a show where the people are in purgatory and they're dead. And it almost felt like the writers were knocking their heads against a brick wall. Like, how can we write this show to prove that they're not dead? Right? Now, mind you, people were speculating this from the very first season. It goes 6 seasons, or was it 7? I think it was 6 seasons. And everyone's like, yeah, they're dead. Yeah, it's purgatory. Yeah, they're living through their guilt or their shame or their desires or their wants or their dreams or whatever. And at the end of the show, they had the show ends with well, yeah, they're dead, but they're kind of not. But yeah, they're dead. And you're just going like, well, you could have answered that from the beginning. No one was going. And the thing is that I think that the fear is that people will tune out from the mystery box, right? Like if your players figure out your 20 session, 20 level campaign from day one, that they won't want to be involved in it. And I have to say that's more often than not, that's not true. Feeling good about if me as a player, if I feel good about my win and I get a high five and I'm like, yeah, I figured it out. I'm like, why do I want to turn that off? I want to keep going. And I think mystery writers and mystery creators, we start to feel let down almost, that we didn't leave breadcrumbs for people to follow, that instead they took the direct path and moved the curtain back and went like, oh, well, what the hell? That's what's going on, Yeah, Rickard says a mystery is only as good as its answer. That's really good. I like that. A mystery is only as good as its answer. And yes, there are times when we have a great premise in our head and we just can't answer it. The premise of everyone in the world gets a flash of their future selves. The world is contacted by an alien signal, or an alien, an extra plane. Excuse me, extrasolar object is coming towards Earth, and this is from Salvation, and humanity is scrambling to figure out how we will survive if Earth is impacted by this object. What another show? I can't remember. Surface, I think, was something alien is coming out of the deep ocean or what have you. I think there was a show called Prey. Um, Another group of humanity is advancing. Um, not Homo superior is existing on Earth or something like that, right? You can have a lot of premises. I just think that don't don't snatch away victory from the people who figure out what your mystery is. And if you don't know your answer, here's a great idea. I'm not as smart as three or four of you guys combined. So if I come up with a premise and I don't know the answer, and you guys combined come up with a better answer than I could have ever figured out, then that's the answer, right? That's the win. If there's a horde of undead and you're like, it could be the necromancer, but I bet the necromancer's under control of an other world. Skyline, ooh, that's another one. Another series that's terrible. Oh man, yeah. How the hell they got, how that series continued, I don't know. I really don't know. But what the hell? Malika says Wanda and Vision's kids first appeared in the West Coast Avengers. Yep, they are a result of her ability to manipulate chaos magic and probability. Yeah. Terra Nova was one. What was the premise? Earth is dying and destroying itself. Humanity comes up with a time travel ability to send people back in time and live in prehistoric Earth. And then what did they do? They started coming up with like what's happening in the future, and there's like political intrigue that way, and why are there people being sent back to sabotage the project in the first place, and you're just like, what the hell? Cam's like, so you're saying you're smarter than two of us combined? That was an inadvertent backhanded slap on my own back. Like, yeah, I'm brilliant. Yeah. Rickard says, also remember, a mystery is only a mystery if you make it so. Players and viewers are very accepting of you setting up a new status quo for the world. Right. Like, there's nothing wrong with the players answering the mystery because you have an answer now. And then you go, oh, well, it was the necromancer this whole time. Great. Okay. So they dealt with the necromancer. They dealt with the undead horde. Now there's a demon or a dragon that was behind the whole thing. Great, we answered one question. Now let's go into the next one. But if you never answer the first question and you keep dropping new mysteries, it's like, oh, the gods are dead. Wow, I wonder what happened. Oh, by the way, the portals to the hells have opened up. Oh, that's another thing. I wonder why that happened. Oh, magic isn't working the way it used to. Oh, is that related to these other things? Nope, not at all. People are disappearing one at a time. Wait, is that related to the gates of hell opening and the gods being dead and magic not working? Nope, not at all. Oh, okay. Oh, the random chunks of land are floating in the sky. But what? Why? Wait, okay, listen. Hey, GM, listen. Portals are opening from hell. There were undead hordes and the gods are dead. That definitely has to do with the land floating in the sky, right? Nope, not at all. You got to figure that out. And you're just like, wait, okay. I would dare say Star Wars. If we could start arguing about something, Star Wars is a perfect example of the mystery box, right? Rey's parents. Huh? Yeah, we got an answer. Was it the answer we wanted? Was it the answer that they listened to the fans? No. I think they should have stuck with the guns and go, yeah, Rey's parents don't mean anything. But man, they dangled that friggin' thread to all of us. And the answer was like not satisfying. Why? Because we as fans figured it out. And when I say we figured it out, we were all guessing from the very moment they brought up the question, right? And instead of going, hey guys, here are the clues we left, and here's the answer to one of them, and let's move the story on. Like if Rey's parents were no one, that doesn't nothing in that answer precluded them from including other Star Wars characters, right? Maybe she finds another Skywalker if we wanted to keep with that bloodline. Maybe the Skywalker bloodline doesn't matter. It's about the Force, about whatever. But we all know, and listen, I'm not a Star Wars head, right? I didn't read all the extended novels. I didn't do that. I watched the movies, but man, yeah, Cam, yeah, I'm with you. You talk about people getting pissed about a mystery box? Yeah, yeah. Who's Rey's parents? I don't know. I'm gonna let somebody else figure it out. Next writer and creator comes along and goes, "I've got an answer. It's going to be this." People come back. Ooh, maybe that shouldn't have been the answer. Let's change it. Rickard says, "Take Terra Nova. People get sent back in time because something happened in the future." Okay, as long as you don't care about the future and focus on the past, the future is not a mystery. It's just set dressing. I so much agree with you. I think Terra Nova would have been a much better show if the side effects of the future were just left there as set dressing. But they included the future in the past. And what I mean by that is if none of the characters that went in the past could go back to the future, I think that would have been a perfect. Leave everyone in prehistoric time. More people come to the past. Those people from the future come to the past and they're assholes or whatever. Fine. But leave it like that. But the fact that people were able to suddenly go back and forth and stuff, and you're like, well, that you're adding an element to the show that it didn't need, right? The best parts of Terra Nova were human beings dealing with like dinosaurs and prehistoric age and survival, and of course those idiotic kids that are getting lost out there and whatnot, right? It was about the characters. When they added in the future stuff, and then what did they do? They sent a dinosaur back into the future to attack the people that were trying to sabotage them and stuff. Yeah. Cameron's like, I'm fine with the sequels. Don't at me, bro. Yeah, I'm picking. I needed to start a fight. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Malika says, remember, never make the mystery too convoluted or vague, like the Force, the Quickening, ooh, the Ring in Lord of the Rings, and the flux capacitor. Oh shit, you went there, dude. You listen. Yeah. I gotta admit, like, I love Lord of the Rings, but the One Ring, dude, that's one big giant mystery, right? Like everyone's like, well, what can it do? Well, what's its power? Now, I contend to you, and listen, this is my own headcanon. I contend to you that the ring was never powerful in the first place. It literally is a ring of invisibility that lets Sauron find out who it is. That's the only thing it does. All the power and the greed the ring is supposed to have doesn't exist at all. That's in the heads of everybody that thinks it's something. It's a cursed ring. The ring makes it that. So that's in my head canon. Sorry, that's what I think. Yep. Like Rickard says, those aren't mysteries. Those are plot devices. Yep. Like the Force is a plot device. Every time they explain more of the Force, I just roll my eyes. Like you're not supposed to explain it. It's a plot device to allow our characters to do a thing that makes them extraordinary. And I've never liked explaining the Force. Metachlorians and the whole nine yards, right? I've always hated the explanation. Hell, in the Quickening, for those who don't remember wow, my brain just shut down. I am immortal. I have inside me blood of kings. Anyway, that whole series, I think, again, suffered from trying to explain a thing, the television series, about Connor MacLeod and the MacLeods and being immortals and immortals fighting each other to become the one. Yeah, sometimes you don't need to explain it. I think what happens is when you try to explain some of these mysteries, you're setting up you're cluing the fans into asking more questions about a thing that wasn't intended to be answered, right? The leftovers, 2% of the population disappeared. You're never going to find the answer why, right? You're just not. Alien starship arrives overhead. Was it District 9? By the way, I hear that they're trying to work on a District 10. Highlander, the quickening. Bum, 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 bum. You know what? Let's go out on. Let's take us out on that fact here on that one. On Highlander 2. Oh my God. What a terrible one there, Dead Man. What a terrible one. Anyway, got to get out of here. Guys, thank you so much for being part of the show. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are so kind to me, just being back and everything. And by the way, again, thanks for just even sticking around, because the friggin' stream was just incredibly terrible. But anyway, guys, again, thank you so much. Have a great one. I have to head off to work. Everyone, have a great day. Bye.